Juve plans Suarez swoop, PSG and Arsenal open talks, Havertz completes his medical, a transfer roundup, and today's great debate all coming up in the next few minutes. As I am your host, Matt Froelich, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. So first off, and apparently Juventus are the ones most likely to be interested in the departing Luis Suarez. It looks as though he will be leaving Barcelona this summer, despite the fact he did return to training with the rest of the squad. The Uruguayan has been told that he no longer has a future at Barcelona, and certainly that most of the time will be spent on the bench, so he could be heading to Juve. This honestly brings up a lot of questions to me. Now, it's clear that Juventus are going to be without Gonzalo Higuain next season. Andrea Pirlo, the new manager, has told him that he will not be needed in the squad. So why would they go and place Higuain with another player who's in their mid-30s? Like, I'm not saying that Higuain's better than Suarez. Suarez is definitely better than Higuain. But in terms of his age, in terms of his role at the club, and the fact he's probably going to have to play second fiddle to Cristiano Ronaldo whenever he decides that he's more of a striker than a left winger, or second fiddle to a younger and better Paulo Dybala, I don't really know why he'd move. Like, yes, he's going to be on the bench at Barca, so he wants to leave, but surely he'd go and leave to actually play somewhere rather than just be on the bench again. Alongside this, Juventus are also interested, if they can't bring in Suarez, in Edin Dzeko, and it looks a little bit more likely that he'll be leaving Roma for the Serie A champions. Also, as well as with this, Luis Suarez will pretty much have to, if he signs for Juve, say that Cristiano Ronaldo is the best player in the world, because that's what happens when you sign for Juve, and he's Messi's best friend. What's going to happen? I mean, I can imagine little conversations between the two like, hey mate, Messi's a little bit better than you. Or if he went around to the other way and said, man, you know what, Cristiano Ronaldo tries really hard in training and I think he might be better than you, Leo. Friendships are going to be broken. Moving on though, and to Arsenal, have had a pretty good couple of days. Not only did they announce the signing of Willian, win the Community Shield against Liverpool on penalties, and now bring in defender Gabriel from Lille, which looks like a fantastic signing. A defence of him and William Saliba at the back looks unbelievable, but also they're getting in a little bit of money. This is because apparently an agreement has been reached between PSG and Arsenal for right-back Hector Bellerin. Now, Bellerin is one of the longest-serving players, if not the longest-serving player, in the Arsenal first team. He's been there for so many years. The thing is, along with some injuries and some drop in form, I'm not so sure he's quite developed into the right back they would have hoped when they signed him as a 16-year-old from Barcelona, and with all of that early promise. Yes, he is still very quick, but his final ball isn't quite up there with some of the better players. So apparently £25 million plus an extra $5 million in add-ons is the amount that Arsenal are going to get for Bellerin. In an ideal world, I don't think they'll sell, and I don't think Arsenal fans particularly want him to go. But considering the fact that Arsenal apparently don't have too much money, who knows whether that's true or not, but I've just gone and spent on Gabriel as well, the fact that they'll be able to get more than they spent on Gabriel for Hector Bellerin is a pretty good deal. It also leads me to ask the question, why has Ainsley Maitland-Niles been sold? An academy product who knows and loves the club, who is definitely versatile in many positions and seems to fit into this Arteta side quite well, whether he's at wing-back or in midfield. I just don't really know why they'd sell him. Anyway, I'm assuming that Arteta has some plan in place off the field, because on the field, he's definitely got a plan in place, and Arsenal looking very strong ahead of the new season. Alongside this, Bellerin has also been linked to the likes of Bayern Munich and Juventus, but those seem to be not so stronger links as the one to PSG. Moving on though, and to a deal that's almost complete, so finally we can stop talking about it. You know how much I hate talking about the same deals over and over again. That's why there's still no Messi news until something a little bit more concrete happens, but it's Kai Havertz. Finally, he's completed his medical at Chelsea. Apparently, all the paperwork was signed like 9 days ago, and the final few dotting of the I's and crossing of the T's are being put on this paperwork before they make a big announcement. £80 million plus $20 million in add-ons. This is a huge signing for Chelsea. Not only is it a lot of money, but it's a massive player who could be great for the next few years at least, if not the next decade, and he's one of the best in the world that's been courted by so many other clubs. Havertz will definitely be a fantastic addition to Chelsea, who look like they'll be keeping N'Golo Kante for the moment. Apparently he wants to stay with the Blues, and even though they want to make a move for Declan Rice, they're going to struggle to find someone who's going to pay a lot of money for Kante. Inter Milan have been linked with them, but apparently yesterday they distanced themselves from the transfer, saying that no talks have ever happened. Next up, and a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news that you might have missed, and Leicester have apparently agreed a £25 million deal with Atalanta for their Belgian fullback Timothy Castagne. Leverkusen have sold Kevin Volland to AS Monaco and replaced him with Patrick Schick from Roma, who spent last season on loan at RB Leipzig. And lastly but not least, Fulham are looking into the possibility of bringing in Lyon winger Bertrand Traore. Finally then, we come to this week's great debate, where this week I'm going to pose a question to all of you to answer in the comment section, and that is, which title race do you think will be the most interesting this season in Europe? Now, I think Liverpool and Manchester City are probably going to be the two in the Premier League. I know other teams have done really well, including Chelsea and Arsenal in the transfer market. I'm just not sure they're going to close that gap so much. For me, Liverpool, City again. Real Madrid look to be favourites, especially with Barcelona's decline in La Liga. In the Bundesliga, you'd expect Bayern to go from strength to strength. In Liga, PSG are probably going to run away with it. And that leads me to the conclusion that Serie A is going to be the most interesting this season. I think Juventus aren't going to be as strong as they were purely because they're under a new coach and there's going to be a few teething issues. I'm not sure, and no fault of his own, Pirlo's going to hit the ground running as a manager, certainly not with a big team like Juventus. Inter Milan are improving. They finished only 1 point behind Juve, as I always seem to be mentioning. They're getting pretty close, and with Antonio Conte staying, they're going to go from strength to strength. Obviously, Lazio are improving, had a brilliant season. If they could be more consistent, they can challenge. AC Milan have had a pretty good summer. Looks like Brahim Diaz is close to joining the club on loan as well. And Atalanta, if they keep up their good form, can also be a challenger. The top of Serie A for me is going to be the most exciting this season. But what do you guys think? You let me know your thoughts on the great debate in the comments below and your thoughts on the rest of today's daily news. Whilst you're at it, you can smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.